Y'all see the title. Y'all see the title. Y'all know what it is. Um, don't be sensitive. Don't try to paint me to be somebody I'm not. Don't tell lies on me. Don't do none of that. Just hear what I got to say. Objective perspective. Told you that sound catchy. That rhymes. That sounds cool. Um, or however it sounds to you, but it's the truth. I mean that when I say it. Objective perspective. This Rob coming at y'all with the objective perspective on this topic. Trump waging war against the LGBTQ plus community. If I said that wrong, um, my bad. I must not really know how to say it. I genuinely am not trying to be ignorant. I don't recall exactly the order it goes in. Um, so no purposeful offense there. It's Trump wage war. I was really confused because when the whole time in 2016 when Trump was running for president and leading up to this run for president for Trump, I did a video on this. See, I've already seen it. Well, some of you have already seen it. If you haven't, go back and watch the video with me covering the four main topics that I heard about Trump. What was going to be horrible when he got in office. So those topics were that he was going to be oh, no, I didn't cover the dictator part. I covered the fact that he's going to raise tariffs that was supposedly going to kill supposedly destroy the economy. YouTube won't let me say words like that. He was going to have tariffs that was going to destroy the economy. He was going to have mass deportation, even though it's for, for the illegals that are over here. What was the other one? What was the other one? Y'all bear with me. What was the other one? It was the deportation. It was the tariffs. It was the war on the Board of Education. And then there was a fourth point that I don't readily recall right now. But I did the video on that, so you guys can go back and watch that. What I did not cover is his supposed war on the LGBTQ community. I had not heard about that. When Trump was on his way to winning, and when Trump won, I seen the mass fear. Is that what they're calling it? I think they called it fear in the LGBT community. I seen it mainly from the allies of that community because I don't. Mainly from the allies of that community, and I have some people on my Facebook page that some of which have recently come out of at least from what I've noticed in the last few months. One of them was rather surprising. But anyways, um, you know, here's my thing, guys. If you're going to tell the story, tell the truth. Don't just tell it from a biased perspective. Tell the truth. Be as objective as you possibly can. And that's why I'm here to bring you. So I'm going to share the short video that I have of President Trump speaking on these matters. I didn't know that Trump had even spoken much about the LGBT community. I truly didn't. Again, I told y'all from the start, I am not deep into politics. I'm more so into the social issues and the social ramification from politics, as well as the cultural ramifications for politics. And so as a result of that, I have my ears to politics a little bit. I have my eyes set on a little bit. But again, I professed from the beginning that I'm not an expert in it, but I do go and look up the matters and research the matters. I don't do heavy research unless I need to, but I do go and research matters when I need to talk about it from a cultural standpoint, from a fair standpoint, from an objective standpoint. I go and look up those matters. I wanted to see why is this particular community so upset that Trump won? I'm like, what did he say? Because this stuff wasn't covered in mainstream media or on YouTube for that matter. I did not see that the LGBT supposed the anti-comments he made about that, how he's going to destroy and take away the rights of the community. So I've watched the fact that he was supposed to take away the rights of the LGBT community, and we're going to go ahead and start off with the video with Trump speaking on that, and I'm going to be giving you guys feedback as this video. Let's go. Let's see what Trump got to say.
The left-wing gender insanity being pushed on our children is an act of child abuse. Very simple.
I want to stop right there. He said the left-wing insanity, whatever agenda being pushed on our children is child abuse. However you may take it, let's be fair. There are certain states that have and or were in the process or are in the process, California being one of them, that have passed or are trying to pass a law where if a child says that they identify that I'm a boy and I woke up in a woman's body, but I'm really a boy. Now, to the visual eye and to the assignment at birth, if that's what we're gonna call it. I hate to even say that, but what's in between the legs shows that it's a girl. But that very same woman, a little girl, has in her brain decided she's a boy now, not on her own. She learned it from some books she read at school, some teaching she heard at school. Kids do not wake up one day and decide they're a boy or girl on their own. It just doesn't happen that way. The idea has to come from somewhere. It just comes from somewhere, and then they go, "Oh, I think that's me." The idea comes from somewhere, guys. Okay, he's saying that's child abuse. They have laws, as I was just trying to say. They have laws in place in some states, and they are trying to pass laws in some states and some places where if a child comes home and tells their parents that they want to identify as a particular the particular gender and the parent doesn't back that, that parent can be charged with child neglect. Child neglect. So, and we know that's a leftist policy. So if leftists can charge a parent for child neglect and or child abuse, why is what Trump saying so wrong? All the ones that are allies of the LGBT community and all the ones that participate in that community, y'all had no problem. Y'all had no problem when laws were passed. When laws were passed and laws are trying to be passed, lobbied to be passed, to label parents child abusers and give parents the charge of neglect if they don't support their child's supposed gender change. But now y'all want to cry when Trump says something like this in the opposite direction. I told y'all it's overcorrection. What's good for the goose got to be good for the gander. If one community can get away with it, why can't the other community? Trump's just coming in with what he calls to be logic. What he says to be logic. Let's keep going.
Here's my plan to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth. On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their physical appearance, and ultimately performing surgery.
Now, I've heard some commentators say that's not true. I don't know. I didn't fact check this, guys. I heard some commentators say that children are not given puberty blockers and they're not allowed to have surgery. I don't know how true that is because I've heard both sides of it. I've heard the right wing say that is very much true. I've heard the left winger say that's not true. I've not done my own research, full transparency there. I've not done my research as it pertains to that. Maybe I will if this video demands that I do. If commenters start telling me that I should do my research and you don't know this because on this site it says da 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 da. Show me something like that and make me go do the research. But until then, I'm just hearing what the man got to say. I'm not saying Trump is all right or wrong. All right, guys, I got to remind y'all, I'm not a political. I didn't vote for Trump. I don't vote at all. And I wouldn't. They both of these people. I mean, Trump, again, from an entertainment standpoint, he's extremely funny. I find him very, very funny. I find him very refreshing because he's not politically correct. I'm tired of that political correctness. I can't stand it. So I find him very funny. If I were to vote, I probably would have voted for him, but I'm not voting because I stand on the side of the Most High Yahweh. Period. Yeshua HaMashiach. That's my God. That's the Most High that I serve. Trump don't serve him. I appreciate some of the things he seems to point at the Most High, but Trump don't serve him, guys. I'm not here to judge Trump and his morality or his felony cases and blah, 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 blah. Man, if y'all want me to do a video on that, I'll get into that another time. I'm not a Trump fan. But I'm certainly not a Democratic fan because they go against everything my religion believes in. And according to the First Amendment, I have my religious rights. I shouldn't be canceled for my religious rights. Nobody should be canceled for what they religiously believe in. Just like nobody should be canceled for what they sexually like. I wouldn't advocate canceling a homosexual's channel or homosexual's business because they're homosexual. I wouldn't do that. No more than I expect a homosexual just because of this video to try to cancel me or get me canceled because I happen to disagree with the lifestyle. I work with so many of these people at my last job or at the job that I was at for about 10 years previously. I work with so many people who really love the same sex, both men and women. I had no problems with them. I laughed and joked with them when something was funny. We laughed and joked. I got no problem. I hired them. I was a general manager for a long time. I hired them. I gave them jobs because I don't care about your sexuality if you can perform the job I need you to perform. I believe everybody has the right to work. Y'all don't need to misunderstand and mishear nothing I say. If I personally and morally disagree with something, if I spiritually or religiously disagree with something, does not mean I think that person is not entitled to basic human rights. Everybody's entitled to basic human rights, in my opinion, unless the Bible says something different. And I don't see where the Bible says something different. So I'm on the side of God. I'm on the side of the Most High Yahweh, period. I don't care who that offends. I'm on the side of the Most High. Okay? That's the side I'm on. I hired so many. So nobody needs to say, oh, Rob he don't like gay people. He's anti-gay. What does that even mean, to be anti-gay? To be to be what y'all call that? What's the term? Homophobic. Homophobic, really. So because I disagree with the lifestyle religiously. So now you guys are pretty much telling me the First Amendment don't apply to me. I don't have the right to practice my religion. Oh, okay. Okay, I thought so. Hypocrite. Hypocrite. That's what you be. I'm reading the definition of homophobia real quick. The definition is the fear, hatred, discomfort with, or mistrust of people who are lesbian, gay, or bisexual. Yeah, you see, phobia, that's not even, they had to add discomfort in. So if you're discomfortable with somebody, you have this negative label as homophobic, okay? So what do y'all call people who are discomfortable with my religious point of view? Would I call them religious phobic? Christian phobic? Is that cool that I call you that? That because you have a discomfort with Christians? Again, even though I'm not a self-professed Christian, I have the values of what comes out of the Bible, and so most of the world will call me a Christian. So we're gonna roll with that for the video. So are you Christophobic? Are you Christophobic? Jesusophobic? Oh, okay. Let me stick to the video.
On minor children. Can you believe this? I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. I will then ask Congress.
Let's run that back because I heard somebody lie about this part of the video. Where was that at? Let me go back to that. I heard somebody lie about it. Let's run that back, guys. Run back what he just said.
Cease all programs that executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age.
At any age. All he was saying there, because again, the context is children, right? The previous 15, 20 seconds of this video was about the children. That's the context. He didn't say he was going to sign an executive order that was going to outlaw sex changes for everybody. At any age means there's got to be a certain age that a person's allowed to do that. It can't just, there's a current bill that allows you to have, or excuse me, there is nothing that prohibits a child from having a sex change. There's nothing that prohibits a 10-year-old from having a sex change unless it's a medical reason. But there is no federal law saying we need to protect this kid. We're not going to let that guy cut off his pole that he was given by birth at the age of 10 years old because his brain isn't mature enough. If a 10-year-old's mature enough to pick their own sex, why is a 10-year-old not mature enough to say, I want to go date that 50-year-old woman up there or that 50-year-old man? As a parent, would you allow that? Oh, Rob, that's not the same. That's not the same thing. Oh, that's just too much. You're being radical now. So many of y'all radical too. I don't want to hear that. That's not the same thing. How is it not the same? Y'all all heard this. So I'm not saying that y'all ain't heard it before. Let's just put it in perspective. This ain't me, by the way. Let's put it in perspective. If I can wake up at 10 years old and choose, if I can wake up at 30 years old, 40 years old, and say, I think I want to be a woman today. I'm a woman today. Period. I lied to myself all my life. I knew this whole time. I was too afraid to admit it. Now I admit it. I'm a woman today. That's right. I may have facial hair and everything, but I'm a woman today. Why in the world can that 40-year-old not wake up one day and say, I'm a 13-year-old female today? Therefore, I deserve to date this 13-year-old boy. Why is that different? Now, somebody drop it in my comments. Tell me how that's different. Oh. I can't wait to see the hypocrites. This video won't have a lot of views yet, but it will one of these days, and the comments will come flowing in. And I want somebody to tell me how that's different. I'm not making a new argument. Y'all heard that before. Anyways, Trump in this video at this particular portion is saying he's going to sign the executive order to make sure there's an age restriction on when you can do these things. Not that nobody can ever do it again. I saw someone talking on a podcast about that. It was a obvious guy that was in woman attire, and he was talking like that. And he's free to dress how he wants to dress. But he was talking like that and saying that Trump was going to outlaw anybody being able to get a sex change. And he didn't say that, even though and my biblical values, I'd have no problem with that, but he didn't say that.
I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures.
Yes, he will ask Congress to stop allowing our taxes to go to these procedures. What's the crime in that? I don't want to pay extra money for somebody to get a sex change. Can somebody pay extra money so I can get a house upgrade? How about that? Y'all pay extra money so I can get a house upgrade. Would y'all think that's fair? Oh, okay. Hypocrites.
And pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly. I will declare that any hospital or healthcare provider that participates in the chemical or physical mutilation of minor youth will no longer meet federal health and safety standards for Medicaid and Medicare and will be terminated from the program immediately. Furthermore, I will support the.
He's putting consequences on the federal Medicaid, Medicare programs that will go against the bills that he plans to have signed. He's putting federal consequences on that. They do that with everything else. No different here.
Creation of a private right of action for victims to sue doctors who have unforgivably performed these procedures on minor children. The Department of Justice will investigate Big Pharma and the big hospital networks to determine whether they have deliberately covered up horrific long-term side effects of sex transitions in order to get rich at the expense of vulnerable patients, in this case, very vulnerable. We will also investigate whether Big Pharma or others have illegally marketed hormones and puberty blockers, which are in no way licensed or approved for this use.
He's talking about investigating, making sure everything's on the up and up. Sign bills in place and do investigations to make sure those bills are being upheld. What's the problem with that? Where's the dictatorship in that? He's a dictator. He's going to take away our rights. We're going to discuss that part at the end. He's taking away our rights with this. He's taking away the rights of the homosexual community with this, the LGBT community. Okay.
My Department of Education will inform states and school districts that if any teacher or school official suggests to a child that they could be trapped in the wrong body, they will be faced with severe consequences.
Yes. If a teacher suggests that to a child, they could be faced with severe consequences. No problem there. A child has no idea that they're supposedly trapped in the wrong body and been assigned the wrong gender at birth until the idea is given to them. Period. Children are innocent. They don't even think like that. Now, I know I got some homosexuals on here that's gonna come on here and say things, or people that supposedly know one or whatever that says, well, no, my brother was a homosexual since as long as I can remember. We were 2 years old and he was a homosexual and no one talked to him. We didn't talk about that in my house, but he knew he was a homosexual. Yeah, okay, cool. There's always an exception to the rule, assuming that's true. There's always an exception to the rule, but we're not gonna go there. I'm not gonna talk about that portion of it right now. But kids are not aware of this until someone brings it to their attention. Let me see here. And I'm gonna tell y'all this. Adam and Eve were just as little kids, as innocent as little kids. We're gonna go to Genesis chapter 3. We're gonna start at verse 7. And the eyes of them both, talking about Adam and Eve, were open, and they knew they were naked. This is after the serpent crept in and taught Eve to eat the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which was not an apple. We don't know what it was. To eat the fruit from the knowledge of the tree of good and evil. Right? She was taught to do that. She went and had Adam do it. I'm not gonna blame her. Adam chose to follow his wife. That was a huge problem. I mean, you see where it got him. You see where it got them both, because Adam chose to follow his wife instead of following God, and he certainly didn't lead her. He was acting like a cuck in that situation, and you see where that got him. We got a lot of men acting like cucks right now. Never mind. And women are great leaders, by the way. They're great leaders in businesses. They're great leaders of some of them, anyways. Some of them are great leaders in businesses. Some of them are great leaders in their families. Some ain't got no choice but to be that. So I applaud and tip my hat off to those that have absolutely no choice but to play mother and father because of bad choices that they made in the past. I'm in the current situation. I'm doing the same thing. I got to be super sensitive with my son at times, but I'm the disciplinary. I'm everything because I'm mother and father. You see what I'm saying? I parent my kid. I'm a single parent, been that way for a long time. So I understand what it's like to have to carry both roles. And I don't cast any dispersions on any woman or man that has to carry both roles. I'm just talking about biblical order, guys. You can hate me for it. I believe in biblical order because I'm a Bible believing person. I'm a believer of the way. That don't mean I can just pick and choose the stuff I want to believe from the Bible. I got to believe everything, which includes I can't get married anymore. Not that I ever want to, but I got to believe everything. Everything in there. Okay? Even the stuff that hurts me and cuts me. Back to verse 7. Their eyes were and the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. They tried to cover themselves. And they heard the voice of Yahweh Elohim walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh Elohim amongst the trees of the garden. And Yahweh Elohim called unto Adam and said, where are you? He knew where he was. And Adam responded back, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself. Now get this part, people. Verse 11. And he said, talking about the Most High, who told you you were naked? Who told you you were naked? In other words, you had no idea you were naked until you went and got that forbidden knowledge, the knowledge I didn't have for y'all for a specific reason. I'm not here to discuss why God, the Most High, put the tree in there if he knew they were going to eat it. I'm not here to discuss that. That's not what the discussion is about right now. Y'all ask me about that in another video. I'm not here to discuss that. Y'all weren't supposed to eat from that tree. There's knowledge of good in there, but there's also knowledge of evil. And for most of y'all humans, the evil will outweigh the knowledge of the good, and y'all going to go the wrong way. That's why you ain't supposed to be messing with that tree. Why did he put it there? Whole nother discussion. That's why y'all supposed to mess with that tree. Who told you that? You wouldn't have known that if someone hadn't told you you were naked, if someone hadn't to give you that knowledge. It's true you're naked, but it's not a bad thing. You all think it's a bad, embarrassing thing now. It was never meant to be a bad, embarrassing thing. It's a natural thing. Now I got to make clothes for you. So God took the lamb of he took the skins of an animal. I don't remember the animal's name. I don't want to lie. Took the skins of an animal and covered them with it, put clothes on them. 6-year-old named Ben. Who told you that you possibly could be a woman trapped in a boy's body? Who told you that? 7-year-old Jackie. What makes you think you're a boy inside a girl's body? Who told you that? Where'd you get that information at? Read a book. Okay.
Including potential civil rights violations for sex discrimination and the elimination of federal funding. As part of our new credentialing body for teachers, we will promote positive education about the nuclear family, the roles of mothers and fathers, and celebrating rather than...
Why do they hate the nuclear family? I don't understand that. Trump says the roles of mothers and fathers, and they talk about he's stuck in the 1800s. I'll admit, things in the 1800s weren't great for women by today's standards. Let me make sure I say that, by today's standards. Because a lot of them thought they had it great back then by the standards they were living in, and they did have it great. They did. Some didn't. Some got taken advantage of. Not every woman got taken advantage of. I wish we stopped painting that picture too. There were plenty of great men out here that treated their women right, and there were plenty of great women out here that treated their husbands right. Plenty of it. And you have plenty of men out here who treated their women like property. And you have plenty of women that treated their husband like a paycheck. It's on both sides, people. It ain't just one. Either way, what's the correction? What's the solution? Trump's talking about gender roles again. And they hate this stuff. All right, I can understand that. The devil done taking over this world. I can understand why they hate this stuff. If I was devilish, I'd hate it too, because it's God's design. So I would hate it too. But the devil and his angels have taken over this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little distracted because I'm trying to find something. Here we go. Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. Oh, he deceived the whole world. Oh, he was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Strong delusion. Romans chapter 1, verse 32. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 11. I ain't getting into that right now. Gender roles are evil now. Gender roles are evil now. Wow. Okay. Let's keep playing this video.
Than erasing the things that make men and women different and unique.
Men and women are different. I'm sorry to break it to y'all. They are different.
Ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. The bill will also make clear that Title IX prohibits men from participating in women's sports, and we will protect the rights of parents from being forced to allow their minor child to assume a gender which is new and an identity without the parents' consent.
That's right. That's exactly what Trump's talking about. He's talking about what I was talking about earlier in the video. Parents being, because that's another thing. I was heard that if a child decides they want to be a different gender in some states, there are laws or are laws being passed that allow that give the teachers essentially immunity not to tell the parents, so they can keep the secret from the parents. If the child comes and confides in the teacher is not to tell the parents. I find that wow. I want to piggyback on something I was just reading in Revelation chapter 12. This is the other verse I was looking for. It's Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth dwellers, and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he know he has a short time. And then verse 13 says, and when the dragon saw that he was cast to the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child. That's a whole nother topic.
The identity will not be new, and it will not be without parental consent. No serious country should be telling its children that they were born with the wrong gender, a concept that was never heard of in all of human history. Nobody's ever heard of this, what's happening today.
It's completely wild. I disagree with the teachings. I said I'm on Trump's side when it comes to this. A lot of us are. You know, they try to say men can. Here's the thing. All these leftists that support this, well, if a man wakes up one day and says he's a woman, then it's all of a sudden that's a she. If that same man, 7 feet tall, 250 pounds, goes into the WNBA, enough said. Right now, most of y'all would say, well, I would never have a problem with it because you want to save face. Bunch of hypocrites and liars. You want to save face, so you ain't going to be honest with yourself. You're not going to be honest with the world. You say, well, she has every right to do that. God darn hypocrite. Because if your daughter worked her tail off to get to the WNBA, your biological daughter worked her tail off to get to the WNBA, she was blessed to be 6 foot tall as a woman, playing the WNBA. And then a 7 foot tall, obvious man goes in there saying he's a woman and plays and starts dominating and winning all the MVPs. Your daughter could never win an MVP. I don't care what your lying hypocrite self say. You'd have a huge problem with it. It's all fun and games until it affects your doorstep. It's all fun and games until it affects your doorstep. Next.
It was all when the radical left invented it just a few years ago. Under my leadership, this madness will end. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Trump. Thank you. Because that's what it is, madness. Now, y'all don't misunderstand me. Just because I agree with these things and I disagree with teaching our children this and teaching our children that, and just because I disagree with that doesn't mean I hate a group of people or I hate a person. I'm going to reiterate this for the liars out here that can't hear very well because the lies have compounded their ears so badly they can't hear. I want to shout it, but I don't want to mess up my video quality. I have gay people in my family that I got no problem breaking bread with at the table. Even though the Bible tells me I shouldn't. I got no problem breaking bread with at the table. I'm in disobedience when it comes to that. I have sat down and broke bread. And I love my family. I love God more, but I love my family. That's something I need to eventually address at some point, right? But this video ain't on that. I'm just an honest person about my own sins. I've hired more gay people than I can count and have laughable conversations with them. Laughing all kinds of stuff that we all found funny. I got no problem with them. If I was homophobic and I had such a fear of these people, because that's what a phobia is. A phobia is really a fear. Let me just go find the definition of phobia real quick, so we can see how they just went and muddied the definition of homophobic to fit their needs. Let's just find the root phobia. Let's find out what a phobia is. Definition of a phobia. A phobia is a persistent, excessive, unrealistic fear of an object, person, animal, activity, or situation. Now tell me, what about me hiring a bunch of people who are gay and having gay people in my family and breaking bread with those same people and laughing with those people tells you that it's a persistent and excessive and unrealistic fear of an object, person, animal, whatever. The key to a phobia is fear. Now with homophobia, they just wouldn't add their own definition and added, well, let's just add in discomfort in there because we want to be able to hang people who do not readily support this. I don't have to support, I support it by saying, if you're a great worker, I'll hire you, no problem. If you're a good person, I got no problem having a conversation. I ain't afraid of you. I ain't gonna run away from you. No. But the Bible does give me certain guidelines about how I'm to conduct myself around anybody that is living in sin. That includes adulterous, sexually immoral people, thieves, covetous, idolaters. The Bible gives me guidelines of how to handle all people like that, not just homosexuals, all people like that. And as I told you guys myself, in my mind, I'm currently an adulterer. I'm not committing the act of adultery, but in my mind, I'm an adulterer. So, guys, I'm not exempt. I'm just being honest with you guys about this. That's it. I'm just being honest. Now, I forgot the point I was making. Here's the thing. We're gonna wrap this up. This video's been long enough. We had 30 minutes. We're gonna wrap this up. I know someone that recently got a job somewhere. And they just found out that someone that looks, acts, and talks and has the name of a woman prefers not to be identified as her or she, but as they, them. And now this person is very uncomfortable that if they don't address this person as they, them, they may lose their job. Why do we have to be worried about that? And this person is religious. This person believes in the Bible. Why can't this person's freedom of religion be respected? I don't understand that. I legitimately don't understand that. Like, we're told we have freedom of religion, but when we try to practice the freedom of religion, we could lose our jobs on behalf of that. Why should we be afraid of our jobs to respect someone else's feelings? Someone else's feelings. I got to respect your feelings and put my religion in jeopardy. No, sir. No, sir. First Amendment right. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. What is now? That's where you get the. Well, what does it mean to freely exercise your religion? The same thing it means to freely exercise your sexuality. I should have that same right to exercise my religion. Now, I appreciate President Trump for seemingly going to put some laws in place to protect people like me. I always hear about the homosexuals talking about, no problem with them, by the way, but the homosexual community talking about, well, we need a safe space and it's safe this and it's safe that. And my phone's a safe space for anybody like me. Where's my safe space as a Christian? Because, of course, that's what the world's going to call me, so no problem. Where's my safe space as a Christian to freely practice my religion? I'm not allowed to do that. I'm not allowed to say she, her, they, them. Or excuse me, I am allowed to say she, her. The Bible doesn't specifically say you can or can't, but based off your interpretation of Scripture, I have to address you as what you are. If you're an obvious, if I don't know, that's one thing. But if you're an obvious man or obvious woman, I have to address you as that. And you need to respect me. The same way you asking for my respect about what you choose to identify as, fine, whatever. You want to be called a girl, that's fine. I'm not going to call you a girl. I'm not even going to call you a boy. When do we go and say, hey, boy, hey, girl? No, if your name's Ted, I'm going to call you Ted. If your name is Samson, I'm going to call you Samson. If your name's Sarah, I'm going to call you Sarah. Period. But if I'm referring to you to one of my coworkers and I'm like, oh, the sis, go get that from Jonathan. Oh, him over, who got the sis? Him over there. I'm not going to, oh, my bad, her over there. If it's an obvious guy. I can't do that. Because now I just disrespected my God. And I went against my religious rights and my religious beliefs. No one has the right to say I'm now fired for that. Y'all see what y'all do? Bunch of hypocrites. I can respect, mentally, I respect whatever you want to do with yourself, whoever you want to date. I got no problem with that because it ain't my business. I got my own sins I got to be accountable for. I can care less about yours. But when your rights start infringing on my rights, now I got a problem. When you start parking your car on my lawn and in my driveway, now I got a problem. I could care less how many cars you pile up into your driveway. I don't care if you got a driveway that suits 2 cars and now you got 4 in there and it makes our neighborhood look bad. It ain't affecting my house, so I don't care. But the moment your toys start coming in my yard, your bikes come in my yard, you know, your landscape is now in my yard, you got your little stone pathway cutting through my yard, now I got a problem. Don't mess with my rights, I won't mess with yours. You can have every right you want to do whatever you want, but it should not affect my right as a Christian man, if that's what y'all call me, and any other Christian's rights for that matter. We should not be forced to call someone that's an obvious man a girl or someone that's an obvious girl a man. If we don't know, that's one thing. We should not be forced to do that or we lose our job or we get our business canceled because we hate gay people and we're anti-gay. What the heck does that even mean? Aren't you anti-hetero? No, I got hetero friends. Everybody I know is hetero. Cool. I got gay people in my family. Plenty of them that I love and care about. Plenty of gay coworkers that I once worked with. So does it make me homophobic because I disagree with it? If it does, and it makes you heterophobic, is there a law against that? Any protection for me since you're heterophobic and you hate me now? Any protection for me since you're heterophobic? Any protection for me and anybody like me? Are you a hypocrite? Donald Trump ain't taking nobody's rights. He ain't waging no war on the LGBT community. He's trying to protect our kids. And he's trying to protect the rights of people like myself. I'd love to have my rights protected. I'd love to be able to exercise my religion without having to be scared about getting fired. I love for this person I know to start this new job. Same thing. I love for them to be able to exercise their free rights of religion without having to worry about getting fired. Y'all hypocrites. Y'all want all y'all rights. Some of y'all want all y'all rights. I'm not putting all y'all in the same box. Please forgive me for any of the LGBT community that actually has some sense. Right? And anybody, there's plenty of heterosexuals who ain't got no sense. There's plenty of humans. I don't care what community you're involved in. There's plenty of humans who got absolutely no sense. For the humans that do have sense, that are part of the LGBT community and are part of the community that's not LGBTQ, forgive me because I ain't talking to y'all. But the ones that ain't got no sense that think, well, my rights are supposed to be protected, and to hell with your rights. No, to hell with your rights. If it's my rights or yours, it's going to be mine. Most people think like that. I got no problem with you thinking like that, but if you're going to think like that, don't get mad at me for thinking like that. Trump ain't coming for nobody's rights. He didn't say you can't vote if you're homosexual. He didn't say you can't. There are going to be laws in place where you can't dine in public if you're homosexual. You can't hold hands in public with your boyfriend or girlfriend if you're homosexual. That would be taking away your rights. But saying things like I'm gonna pass a law to where there's only two genders and that's man and woman, that protects people like me. And I want my protection. You get to have yours. Why can't I have mine? It's fair for you, should be fair for me. All right, people. I got a couple more things that I want to share here. Let me see here. So, transition to subjects real quick. I found something interesting on Facebook the other day. I'm always talking about hypocrisy because that's all I ever see around here is hypocrisy. I see hypocrites all over social media and everywhere else. So I wanted to look at some hypocrisy real quick that I found on Facebook the other day. It was actually somebody on my friend list shared this post that just really pissed me off. Look at this post from a female named, I don't even know, Tajane or something. Once I reach for that, you move my hand, you can get the F on, and then you can see I blurted out GAYASSNIGGA, where she don't put the I there. You can get the F on. So this person is suggesting that if a woman reaches for a man's, you know what, and he moves her hand, she calls him gay. Now, see, the problem is I actually see these kind of posts on Facebook all the time. I see these posts on social media all the time. And not one person comes at these women. Not one person tells these women they're homophobic. Not one. You're telling a man he's gay because he don't want you touching his private parts. He's gay because he moved your hand. And then everybody gets on there and cosigns and laughs and all this other good stuff. No one calls her homophobic. But if a guy said that, it'd be World War III. I'm gonna say this because, and I said this a lot, and a lot of y'all may disagree with me. I know a lot of people are crying. I hear it on podcasts. I hear it on stupid things when my sisters listening to Love and Hip Hop. Black women are the most discriminated and least protected group of people. That is a bold-faced lie. And I'm sorry. I love all women. I do. Lord knows I love women a little bit too much. I do. Of all colors and everything. I love women. My Lord. Y'all are really beautiful. And God forgive me. Because I shouldn't love women as much, but I do. Now, I do have a level of self-control. Don't get me wrong. I don't act on my love for these women. I love to act on it, but I don't. And I'm getting a whole lot better, guys. I'm in recovery. I've been in recovery, and I'm doing well. Y'all pray for me. Hallelujah to God. But Black women and this notion that they're not protected is wild to me. Y'all heard diversity, equity, and inclusion? Yeah, okay. All right. So my point is, I see a lot of, because of the way my Facebook is set up and my social media, I see a lot of women in my community say crazy things like this, and get away with it, for one. But two, that's not the biggest point here. It's the double standard. I want y'all to see the double standard from these hypocrites. So you get a bunch of people laughing at it and all this other stuff. Y'all can see the comments, a bunch of stupid laughter, co-signing his BS. Someone says, sassy mother effer. We sassy because we don't want your big ape to touch us. I blocked out names and stuff. So I don't even know if this is a man or woman that said this. But y'all can see this stuff on here. So this not SA, which y'all know it stands for assault. You know what I mean? This is a guy. So this is not SA, a woman. I blocked out a picture. Says no. He responds back, but if the roles were reversed, oh, he's right. Because imagine if a guy reached down for a woman and she, first of all, that's automatically, rather, it's just, we know that's assault. We know they're going to call that assault. Guys can't do it. Why can't women do it? No different. Because again, society teaches we're all equal. So if we're all equal, I don't care nothing about, woman should not be able to do it if a man can't do it. I'm not advocating that a man should be able to do it, by the way. Y'all don't go lying on me. Don't do that. Here's the point I'm making. Don't go lying on me. The girl says, do you think she's talking about a random guy? The guy responds back, doesn't matter. If he doesn't want it, he doesn't want it. Someone else, another guy jumps in, doesn't matter. No is no, remember? Yeah, I agree. And another guy says, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't know that word was still in there. I missed that word. My point is, though, a woman responds, not the same woman that wrote the post. A woman responds and says, no, that's not assault. It's assault when a guy does, but not a girl. She says that. Y'all keep in mind, this is not just one post. I see this kind of foolishness all the time. All the time. They talk about guys in a double standard, but we're not proving that women have a double standard, that there's a double standard with women too? Or is it just guys that have the double standard? Everybody stop crying wolf all the time. Understand that it works both ways. It's not just one double standard in life anymore. Y'all stop lying about that. The woman says, do you think she's talking about a random guy? So I'm assuming that means if she's not talking about a random guy, she was talking about her boyfriend. Well, one, that's not what the original poster even made it seem like. But let's just say it was. If a woman has a boyfriend and she reaches for his, and he says no and moves her hand for whatever reason, he don't feel like it, he's tired, he's not really attracted to her at that moment, whatever reason, she says, F out of here, gay dude. Now, what if a man did that? What if a man did that to his girlfriend? He reaches for his girlfriend, she says, nah, not right now, I don't want it. And he says, man, get the F out of here with your gay self. Well, one, no one's going to care because it's totally okay for women to be gay in society now, but not men. So no one would really care if the woman did it. I'm not advocating for either, by the way, because I believe in what the Most High teaches. So I don't advocate for either side, but I'm just saying it's okay for one side to be able to do it, but not the other. Again, I'm just talking about hypocrisy. I'm exposing is hypocrisy. I'm not saying I'm for one side or the other. I'm not for that particular type of stuff, but I'm also not for hypocrisy. I can't stand it. A woman should not be able to assault a man, no more than a man should be able to assault a woman. And you know which way I'm trying to say. I just think YouTube hinders me from being able to talk the way I want to talk. But y'all need to wake up, people. I just want y'all to see the hypocrisy. I want y'all to roll with me on this journey of trying to help set our community straight. Not even just our community, but help bring awareness to this kind of stuff so that way we can get the community straight with the hypocrisy and the double standards and all the other BS that has been going on. Now let's go to the next page. It says, doesn't matter. No is no, remember. I think, gosh, I got to block that out. I did not. This is wild. I think I need your blank grabbed at it. I'm so sorry, people. I did not realize it was there. Back to her comment. Honey, y'all are so strange. Y'all tell women, why go over if that's not what we want. But now we believe in consent. It's so funny to me how consent has this mysterious thing until men want to cry about it. The F. So you're saying two wrongs make a right. It is just the height of hypocrisy, people. It's the height of hypocrisy. I want to share that with y'all. This is the kind of BS I see on social media all the time. It's just straight up BS. And I wanted to share that mess with y'all. Y'all stop liking that stuff. Stop laughing at posts like that. It's not funny. If assault ain't funny on a woman, it's not funny on a man. And it's not funny on a woman, by the way. Assault ain't funny regardless. But it's not, well, a man can't SA a woman, but a woman can SA a man. And nobody should be able to SA nobody. Just like nobody should be able to hit nobody. If a man hits a woman, he shouldn't be able to do that. If a woman hits a man, she shouldn't be able to do that. If a man hits a woman, he deserves to be hit back in his face. Wherever he hit, he deserves to be hit back. But on the flip side, yeah. I ain't gonna let y'all hang me today, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. One side can't do what the other side can do. I don't think it's funny when a man hits a woman, and I don't think it's funny when a woman hits a man. I don't think either is funny. I see people on social media laughing about that crap all the time. Nothing's funny about that. Nothing. If you hit me, I do not care what you look like. If you hit me, I will say this. There are certain people I would not dare beat down because it would just be like taking candy from a baby. I wouldn't do that. But I would defend myself, and there's a difference. I wouldn't beat someone down that didn't need to get beat down, if y'all know what I mean. But I would defend myself. I tell you that much. I'm not letting anybody hit me. I'm not saying I'd beat somebody like that up and kick them in the head and all that stuff. No, a dude, yeah. But somebody else that hits me, no. But I would defend myself, whatever that means. All right, guys, transition. I can't believe how long this video is. I apologize, you guys. It wasn't supposed to be this long. We're going to do a quick sports take. Jon Jones and Mike Tyson, real quick. What do I think about the fight? I was a trained fighter for a small period of time. For a very small period of time, I trained in fighting. So we're going to get my take on that. And we're going to start with my man, Bones Jones. Is he the GOAT? Is Bones Jones, Johnny Bones Jones, is he the GOAT? You asking me? Oh, yeah. Now, I'm not an avid MMA fan. I love it. I like MMA. I like watching it, but I'm not an avid fan. I buy every pay-per-view. I'm more of a boxing fan, but even that's just completely bogus now. Jon Jones, let me tell you something about this dude. Now, granted, he's not the fighter he used to be because you can look at his body and tell he's not a physical. He's 37 years old. There's no reason he should look like that. He clearly does not train anymore. He's enjoying his money, whatever. Hats off. Enjoy your money. He doesn't. You could tell he didn't come into this training camp in the best of shape. He could be in great shape if he wanted to, but he has decided he doesn't need to be in great shape, and that's going to probably hurt him if he keeps fighting. But he's not as fast as he used to be. He's still just as strong, but he's not as fast and nimble as he used to be on his feet. Jon Jones used to be really nimble, super quick, pow, strike you and you down. I mean, he's not as fast anymore, but he is still by far have the highest fighting martial arts IQ that I have ever witnessed with my two eyes. Dude is wild. I mean, that spinning back kick that he hit to the freaking gut was like, what? Even though it wasn't super fast, it was perfectly timed and it was on the right spot. And dude had absolutely no choice. Dude had absolutely no choice but to drop. It was a thing of beauty. His IQ was on 200, while the next smartest guy's IQ is probably on 120. It's just ridiculous. Yes, I don't want to hear, oh, Stipe was washed. He was washed up. Y'all didn't say that before the fight. Y'all didn't say that before the fight. Y'all got revisionist history. Some of y'all just straight up hypocrites, man. It's not even funny. It's annoying as heck. It's really annoying. Some of y'all just got revisionist history. Stop that mess. Yes, Stipe was washed. He's past his prime. Let's just be honest. Jon Jones ain't washed, but he's past his best. He's had his better days behind him too. Stop. Put anybody. He's ducking Tom Aspinall. Let's see. If I was at the height of my sport and I had done everything I need to do in my sport, I've already fought the best in my weight class. I moved up weight classes. I captured the belt, and I've got more than enough money to last me a lifetime. What's my incentive to wake up and go through an 8 to 10 week training camp? Some of y'all don't know what a training camp is. It's brutal. It is not something. It ain't just working out at the gym 5 days a week. A training camp specifically for a fight is so far from going to the gym for an hour. Training camps for people that are serious last half the day. I'm not saying you do this all day, but you usually work out. You're usually doing something dedicated to your training 6 to 8 hours a day on average for 10 weeks with maybe 2 days off. Of course, maybe your weekends off. That is hard. And it's hard for somebody to do that when they've already got more than enough money. Their legacy is already cemented. They've been on top of the sport for so long. Nobody has beat them. He's been disqualified once, I believe, but he's not been beaten. Nobody has beat them. It is hard to wake up and be motivated for that. Ducking Tom Aspinall? No. Pay me enough money, I'll fight him. I'll fight anybody. You pay me enough money. But I've got so much money now, I don't want to fight that guy. For what? I don't mind fighting him, but you got to write me a large check to get me out of my house because I don't need it. I'd love to have more money, but I don't need it. And fighting is brutal. Fighting is brutal. It is mentally taxing. It is physically taxing. It is so hard. Who've never been in a fight, if y'all never been in a fight, you don't know. But especially organized fighting, that's just different than being in a regular fight because you got to go 6 rounds. You got to go 8 rounds. You got to go 12 rounds if you're boxing. It's hard. You got to be in crazy shape, y'all. So y'all got to stop talking on things y'all don't know. Jon Jones is not afraid of nobody. He is the best fighter. He is the greatest MMA fighter that the MMA has ever seen, period. Now for the sham. Was Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul a sham? I think we all know the answer to that question. And the answer is a big fat yes. Jake Paul defeated Mike Tyson by 8 rounds. He said after the fight, in this post-fight press conference, that he took it easy on Tyson because he really didn't want to hurt him too bad. Understandable. I seen that. I got people on the internet talking about they're slowing the video down and look here. And Tyson was taking it easy on him. If you think a 57-year-old man that just had surgery or just had an injury that had to call the fight off before and push the fight back by 4 or 5 months, who all he does on most days is just smoke weed all day. So he's not in any good shape. He looks good in physical shape. He can lift weights, but he's not in any good stamina shape. If you think somebody like that can beat a 27-year-old guy who's probably bigger than him, probably at this point, I don't know about stronger, but probably about just as strong as him, faster than him, more nimble than him, in way better shape than him, and is actually trained. He's not a great boxer by any stretch of imagination, but he's actually trained in the sport, and he's had about 10 fights, I think. If you think that an old legend that has not looked good since probably since the year 2000 is probably the last time he actually looked serviceable, he hasn't looked good in almost 25 years, people. I'm a boxing fan, so I know. Some of y'all just casual fans. You don't know nothing. I'm a boxing fan. He ain't looked good in over 25 years. Lennox Lewis whooped his tail, and I don't even remember what year that was. 2002, 2003, 2004. I don't remember. Lennox Lewis bashed him in. He quit on the stool against Kevin McBride, I believe. If you think somebody like that can knock out a young 27-year-old lion who has been active, I don't care if his name is Mike Tyson. Y'all don't know fighting. You don't know fighting, you don't know boxing. All right? I'm going to leave it at that, man. Y'all need to get your weight up on the things you talk about. Like, comment, subscribe to my page. Like, comment, subscribe to my page. Ask me any questions in the comment section. If you like this video, throw up something. I don't know what they be saying. Throw up a 1 in the comment section if you like this video. If you didn't like this video, if you think I'm homophobic or sexist or all the other bull crap, send a 2 in there. Send me an email, truth6735@gmail.com. truth6735@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to have you on the show so we can discuss. Also, I have a discussion coming up with a guy that that I've known since I was probably 3. Right? I got a discussion coming up with him on Friday. Y'all forgive me. Friday, November the 22nd. Friday, November 22nd at 1 p.m. I have a discussion coming up with my guy. He's a Hebrew Israelite. Like I said, I've known him a long time ago. We know each other for a super long time. He's not a brother I talk to on a regular basis. We don't see each other anymore. Obviously, we're not in school anymore. He's got his life. I got my life. But nonetheless, he was always a good brother, and I look forward to having a discussion with him. Y'all look forward to that. Tune in. We'll be live streaming Friday at 1 p.m. We'll be discussing the topic of salvation. He is a Hebrew Israelite. I come from more of a Christian perspective, but not from an Orthodox Christian perspective because they be lying. But I come from a Christian perspective. Y'all tune in, and I appreciate y'all for watching. Until then, peace and blessings.